feel like either one of them right now could fight for the title. If it's Carlos, I'm happy. If it's Morales, I'm happy. But we also got to add the monster at that weight class, the boogeyman, Shavkat. Shavkat is amazing, and that's the only guy actually they could beat Islam. That's the only guy that could beat Islam, and he's naturally bigger.
I think Topuria is the perfect fight for him. I think that fight needs to happen. Topuria has a low center of gravity, so he's going to be very hard to take down. And when he's not taking him down, he's going to be punching him with all he's got. So I'm hoping that the UFC makes that fight next.
Following his commanding victory at UFC 322, Islam Makhachev is now searching for his next challenger to protect his welterweight championship for the very first time. The weight class is packed with talent, and several prominent fighters are in the running, but Daniel Cormier has revealed which name he believes could provide Islam with his most difficult test yet. The former two-division UFC champion and Hall of Fame inductee Daniel Cormier shared his opinion on who should face Islam Makhachev next at welterweight. Cormier thinks Shavkat Rakhmonov represents an especially intimidating opponent for the fighter from Dagestan. He stated that whenever he considers this particular fight, it strikes him as an absolutely wild matchup, and he's convinced it would certainly be the most challenging bout of Islam's entire career. Daniel Cormier said, "Shavkat Rakhmonov is the guy that I think about, and I go, man, that is a crazy fight to think about. That would easily be the hardest fight of Islam Makhachev's career." Jorge Masvidal shares the view that Shavkat Rakhmonov is the sole welterweight capable of defeating Islam Makhachev. According to him, the division is filled with talented competitors, yet Shavkat distinguishes himself through his physical advantages, grappling abilities, conditioning, and stand-up skills. Despite Shavkat dealing with injuries recently, Masvidal rates him among the most threatening fighters at 170 pounds and believes he's earned a high-profile matchup soon, viewing him as the only genuine threat to Islam.
Like either one of them right now could fight for the title. If it's Carlos, I'm happy. If it's Morales, I'm happy. But we also got to add the monster at that weight class, the boogeyman, Shavkat. Shavkat is amazing, and that's the only guy actually they could beat Islam. That's the only guy that could beat Islam, and he's naturally bigger, great wrestler, has an endless tank of gas, and he's not bad on the feet. He does eat some shots to give some shots, but he's not bad on the feet. Now that I think about it, I forgot completely about Shavkat. He's been injured for so long, but he's another one of my favorite welterweights. He could be another guy that could beat him all, man. Shavkat's really good, so maybe we get Shavkat versus Jack Magdalena, or Shavkat versus one of these guys, Carlos or Michael, whoever doesn't fight for the title, because we need to see Shavkat fighting for that title.
On the other hand, Colby Covington thinks Ilya should be Islam's next opponent. He feels this matchup is the right one to make no matter which weight class it happens in. In his view, Ilya brings a level of danger that Islam has not faced before. He believes Ilya's strength and power will make it difficult for Islam to control him on the ground. Colby also sees Ilya as someone who has the ability to end the fight with his striking.
Speaking of Islam, who do you think is most deserving to fight him next?
Either Usman or who else they got then? I mean, I want to see the Topuria fight. Everybody wants to see the Topuria fight. I think it needs to happen. Whether they do it at welterweight or they do it at lightweight, that fight needs to happen. We need to settle it. And I think that Ilya will be a toughest fight because he has that low center of gravity, so he's a lot shorter. So it's going to be harder to take him down and hold him down. So he's got good jiu-jitsu. I see him getting back to the feet, and obviously he's one of the biggest punchers the UFC's ever seen. So I'd like to see Ilya get his hands on him and knock him out.
Demetrius Johnson, an MMA guru, also analyzed a potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilya Topuria at 170 pounds, questioning whether Topuria and other fighters in the division match Makhachev's size and skill. They emphasized that Makhachev's strength comes from controlling opponents on the ground rather than just striking, and noted that even composed fighters can feel the pressure he creates. While doubts about Tupuria's ability persist, facing someone like Makhachev introduces a new level of challenge and mental strain.
Could Ilya Topuria and Michael Morales be in the same weight class?
Ilya Topuria taking on Islam Makhachev. Is it at 155 or is it at 170?
It's unfair at 170. At no point in UFC history should Ilya Topuria and Michael Morales be in the same weight class. The difference would be too much. With Makhachev, it's not limbs, it's the back. When he's on top, you can see his back. Or maybe Ilya could listen. Doubting Ilya has become like a loser's profession, and maybe he'll get in Makhachev's head a little bit as well. JDM was kind of just sort of staying calm in the build-up. Someone will ask him a long-winded question and he'll go, "Yeah, we'll see," and that's it.
Arman Sarakturian thinks a fight against Ilya Topuria would be far tougher for Islam Makhachev than his bout with Jack Della Maddalena. He points out that Ilya has significantly more power and has nearly knocked out most of his opponents, while Della Maddalena has fewer finishes. Arman emphasizes that Toporia's strength and physical build would make the matchup much more challenging.
Вот многие после такого выступления считают, что бой с Ильей – это полный мисс-матч. Ты как считаешь?
Не факт. Я думаю, что с Ильей будет намного тяжелее, чем с Мадалиной было.
Из-за низкого центра тяжести и борьбы?
Из-за антропометрии, и я думаю, что у Ильи намного тяжелее удар, чем с кем он дрался?
Джек Делла Мадалена.
Да, я думаю, что у Ильи тяжелее удар, чем у Мадалена. Мадалена меньше ронял, чем Илья. Илья почти всех роняет.
Arman Sarakturian was also impressed by Islam Makhachev's performance at UFC 322, saying it showcased the champion's elite level. He notes that Islam is operating on a completely different plane and adds that he doesn't see anyone capable of stopping him, even at 170 pounds.
I'm sure you watched the fight. What was your reaction to what Islam accomplished on Saturday?
Very good performance. I was shocked how he beat so easy Madalena. It says what's Islam level, he's in different level right now. He's on his prime.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that fight would be a lot closer.
And I don't know who can stop him right now. 170 even.
Arman Sarakturian said watching Islam Makhachev against JDM felt like a champion versus an amateur. He noted that Islam is on a completely different level, far ahead of everyone else, and added that even at 170 pounds, Makhachev will be extremely difficult to beat. Meanwhile, Ian Gary criticizes Jack Della Maddalena's team for being unprepared against Islam, saying Jack and his camp looked unready for a world title fight and that their preparation was nearly non-existent. Ian Gary said, "I don't want to sound negative about it, but Jack and his team didn't look prepared. I don't know if anyone told them they had a world title defense. It was almost non-existent." On the other hand, Jack's coach, Ben Vickers, is confident that their game plan against Islam Makhachev wasn't the problem, but execution was. He explains that the plan relied on movement and picking away at Islam on the outside, avoiding long periods on the ground. However, they struggled to get the movement going, and Islam controlled the fight. The coach adds that the same game plan would be used in a potential rematch.
The game plan was movement, but I feel like we never got the movement going. We had sort of roots to the feet on the floor, but for whatever reason, we couldn't start executing and getting to the first point of those roots. Just Islam did such a good job. And I don't want to go too much into the game plan because it is a game plan we'll use again. I mean, I don't think there was an issue with the game plan, just the execution. But yeah, definitely more movement. We wanted to do more movement. Obviously, we didn't want to be on the ground for 19 minutes of a 25-minute fight. We wanted to do some damage. We wanted to do death by 1,000 cuts, like just pick away on the outside and blah, 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 but it just wasn't our night.
Ben Vickers explains that fighting Islam Makhachev improved Jack's submission defense, giving him confidence to worry less about being caught. This newfound security could make Jack more dangerous on the feet, allowing him to attack opponents directly and focus on striking. Vickers adds that the bulletproof submission defense is a key tool they can continue to develop moving forward.
Yeah, and I think the benefit of the Makhachev fight is Jack can kind of feel like he doesn't need to worry about submissions anymore, which might be bad for everyone else because it will mean that he's going to unload even more on the feet, And instead of being the guy that floats around and picks people apart and the death by 1,000 cuts guy, you might find a motivated Jack who's pissed off, who's just going to run after people. Not run after people. We'll always use good footwork and technique and stuff like that. Beautiful violence is what we're searching for. But maybe Jack's a man that instead of like waiting for you and trying to get you on the counter now, maybe he's going to come straight at you and just try and hit you in the face as hard as he can and back his skills on the ground. We're not discouraged by what happened on the floor. Yeah, he got held down. He couldn't get back up again. And that is disappointing. And we do need to work on that. But, the bulletproof submission defense is something that we can use moving forward.
Meanwhile, Ian Gary expressed confidence that Jack Della Maddalena would make excuses rather than fully own his loss to Islam Makhachev. He believes DM will likely blame external factors instead of admitting "I wasn't good enough," and doubts he has the mindset to take full responsibility for the defeat.
There was a lot of anguish on his face on the ground. There was a lot of
I think he never felt the pressure like that in his life and felt ridiculously uncomfortable. But I guarantee there's going to be excuses. he's going to come up with some excuse and try to tell himself that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It could never have been me. I'm a world champion. I'm going to blame it on something else because it's far too hard to sit down, point the finger at myself and go, I wasn't good enough. So he'll never do that. I don't believe JDM's man enough to point the finger at himself and say,
That's all we have from today's video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing MMA content.